Ladies and gentlemen,
It's the Backyard MECCA Show.
Backyard MECCA Show. MECCA Show.
We speak that realness.
Ladies and gentlemen, my Interwebliens, everyone out there, beautiful people, I want to welcome you to the first episode of the Backyard MECCA Show podcast. It's something very special, something we're putting out here for you guys to enjoy, give a little bit of balance. We're going to talk about everything, man, from hip-hop to politics to spirituality, current events, anything you can think of. Alongside, I have my wonderful brother, Xavier. Peace. Welcome.
Thank you.
How
Brother.
are you, brother?
Doing pretty good, man. 2 in the morning, 2:30 in the morning.
Oh man, a lot of trial and error, man. Like we were supposed to start 2.5 hours ago, but
No, I'm doing good.
You know,
I'm normally working lift this time anyway.
Man, I'm up too. I'm a night owl, man. I'm a night owl, so we're gonna get it going, man. And then my brother over here, Mr. Calamari Dave. How are you, Dave?
I'm all right, man. How are you guys, man? I'm just a little nervous.
Good, man. Yeah, man. I think we all are, man. Like, we have a lot of trial and error going on, but that's how we learn, man. By the way, my name is SELFMATHEMATIKS. Y'all can call me Self. And we're coming to you tonight from Night Owl Studios from the 415 building, downtown Shelton, Connecticut. This is where we'll be doing our show. And we'll be doing every Wednesday. Every Wednesday, you will get a brand new podcast show. Tonight we're doing something a little different because it's our first show. We're just introducing ourselves, just getting the feel of it, going through the trial and error. But we will be having guests almost every show, that are going to share their stories, and so we can give people a platform so they can do what they got to do and get their stories out there because we need to be heard, man. But yeah, so today is just an intro show. We're going to take it easy, talk about a little bit of everything, mash it up, and I hope you guys enjoy, man. But without further ado, my brother X, what do you got on your mind today, brother?
Stephen Hawkins, man.
Oh,
Stephen Hawkins. So
wow. Rest in peace to that, brother.
For the people that don't know, he passed away. For the people who do not know who Stephen Hawkins is, he was a famous scientist who was pretty much paralyzed. His whole body was paralyzed, and how he spoke and communicated was through a computer, through some kind of mechanism. I'm not even sure what it is. But the first thing that comes to mind when I hear of like a scientist passing away or somebody with power, they have a lot of power, a lot of money, a lot of access, more so access than anything, more access than the average person has to technology and things like that. So, have you guys ever seen Transcendence?
I've never seen that movie. I've heard of it. I've never seen it. No.
Transcendence is a movie starring Johnny Depp. And basically, he's a famous scientist in the movie. He dies. His wife tries to keep him alive or find a way to keep him going because of the work that he was doing in the field. And they basically, to make a long story short, they uploaded his consciousness or uploaded his soul to the internet. So then now he has access to all information in the world. And also, he's merged himself with the computer.
Wow.
And then he recreates his body with nanotechnology. For those who don't know what nanotechnology is, it's like little bits, little machines that think for themselves that we can recreate or create like a bigger machine and work together. So 1,000 little nanobots could make anything that it wants to make and then work as a self-controlled computer.
So that shit is like digital cloning.
Yeah, basically like digital cloning. Right.
That's wild.
It's almost like they 3D printed them.
Yeah.
With nanotechnology.
Wow, that's crazy, man.
It is, because now, even though for some of us, it might seem far-fetched that these things happen in our reality, you have to consider, we don't even understand how phones work, you know what I mean, or how simple shit that we use every day works.
I say that all the time. I'm like, yo, who sat there, right? Who sat there before, any of all this electronic shit came about? Who sat there and was like, yo, I'm going to invent a TV? Like, what kind of shit were you on? What were you smoking? How do you just sit there and create that shit out of thin air?
Nowhere, right? Yeah.
Anything, man. Electricity, all that.
Just
bro.
the idea,
it's wild,
right?
Bro. Like
I'm gonna broadcast programs on a screen. There's gonna be in everybody to even think about the concept of a TV. Now, phone, I could sort of see how people could think about that, because then you have if you look at what's called telepathic or telekinesis, the word telephone. So the thought process was already there, being able to communicate with people without
the energy,
wires, right? Just energy. But the TV,
yeah,
you know what I mean? That's a whole different thing. Like I'm gonna put
Yeah.
satellites into space. I'm gonna bounce signals from that takes. So just to give you guys a scope, the things we see every day and experience every day, we don't understand. So I wouldn't put it past a scientist that been in the field like him to not have any kind of grasp on, hey, I'm gonna extend my life.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He's not like a religious guy, so he's not gonna feel like, well, God's gonna be against me or anything like that. So the way a lot of scientists think, they just think of what they can understand, what they can quantify. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. And that's wild, because it also kind of reminds me of the story with like David Rockefeller, where he had like, I don't know, like 7 heart transplants or some shit like that. Like he just died like, I don't know, a couple years ago, a year or two ago.
That's right, that guy.
He was like, like 100 and something. You know what I'm saying?
He was old as fuck.
But yo, he had mad, like, it's sad, because like if you got the money, man, you could live longer, bro.
Right,
you could live healthier. You could get the medicine you need. You could get everything you need.
Everything.
You know what I mean?
And that's what I'm saying. There's so much access that we don't know about because we don't have the money and the access.
Absolutely.
So I don't put it past these people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like if you're gonna make a whole movie about it, the concept exists.
Yeah,
You know?
absolutely.
The concept is a thing that someone has explored. Like, all right, let's go into cloning. We mentioned cloning, right? So a lot of people don't think that cloning is happening because they made it a law that where you can't clone. A lot of people feel like, oh, the government just left it alone. The law wasn't that you can't clone. They just don't want to use government funds for cloning. So if you got your own money, you could do this.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
You know what I'm saying? So they have movies where people have had their own money and have found ways to like splice animal DNA and human DNA and all this and make another being.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I forgot the name of the movie, but there's a bunch of little stories like that.
Yeah, because you hear a lot about it, like, online. There was like I think it was a lamb or some shit with 2 heads. Like it was one body. Like I don't know, man. It was crazy.
Yeah.
But they do, they talk a lot about that. And like, again, people, we're gonna talk about everything, man. Some people call shit. We're gonna talk about conspiracy theories,
Talk about that shit,
but we're gonna talk about everything. You might not want to believe it, but that's cool.
Do your
that's
research.
why, research. That's why you have the world at the tip of your hands now with your phones and your computers and all that. And like I kind of mentioned earlier before we got on the mics, man, that that word conspiracy was made by people that have, I guess, to have their own agenda, or the powers that be, whatever you want to call it, just to take away credit from people that are actually trying to talk about things or digging things up that they don't want people to really come close to.
They're trying to make you think you're crazy.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
and they really want the people to think that you're crazy.
Right.
So you looked at like a lunatic. You know what I'm saying?
And they don't take you serious.
Exactly.
And it takes
away from what you're doing. But I mean, that's here nor there. Back to Stephen Hawking, though, man. It's crazy because the technology they have with the cell phones, when you put the cell phones up to your face, how like you could talk, or it turn the light comes on, or all that. That's what he has in his cheek. I read today.
And you don't even see his mouth move.
Yeah, so that's what's connected. That's what's connected to his cheek, and that's how he speaks. You know what I mean?
Right.
So basically, like, I'm still trying to figure it out because I don't know much about him, but it was always interesting to like know enough. So it's like, is he thinking that shit?
Yeah, it's like,
and it's coming out from his mind, or is he kind of typing it? Because I read kind of where he's, I don't know, but then I also read that as the years went on, because he lived like 50 or something more years than what he was supposed to. He was only supposed to live a few years after they found out he had that. So that's where it's like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Like, okay, like you got to look at everything. So
stem cell. Think about stem cells.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like, think of stem cells. Stem cells basically cloning on a smaller scale. You're going to take a cell and then recreate the organ with that cell that is your cell. You're cloning your own body to utilize in your own body.
it's wild, man.
So this technology exists already. People are using it all the time. Matter of fact, who's the guy, man, that made Passion of Christ?
Mel Gibson.
Mel Gibson. He does stem cell therapy for his back. We talking about it on Joe Rogan's show.
It's crazy because isn't he a Scientologist too?
I think so.
I believe so.
I think
you know
so.
what I mean?
And
It's interesting though, because if like,
Scientology.
you know what I'm saying, like you got that stem cell thing he's into Scientology. Like, what does he know that we don't?
We don't
You know what I'm
have
saying? Not that I'm
understanding.
saying I would follow any. I'm free, bro. I'm me. I believe in love, and you know what I'm saying. I believe in, that's my religion, love, and just trying to do good in this world.
Right.
And I'm not knocking anybody else, but like, it's just like what, it's just what is it? Like that's what I tend to think when I'm thinking of shit. You know what I'm saying? Like when I talk about certain shit online, because y'all know me, I get it in online. I go in on things. Sometimes I'm right, sometimes I'm wrong, sometimes I don't know. But I study it, I research it. A lot of the people that want to argue back and try to prove you wrong don't study shit. They just look at their one side. So like, yo, you don't hold no weight to me. So sometimes I've learned now to kind of not even debate. Like I won't even acknowledge you. Not that I'm better than you, but it's like, yo, like you're showing me
that you don't really
you're one-sided. You're not well-rounded of how to research and do the knowledge and all that. So, but yo, that's amazing, man. With the whole stem cell and
it's deep, bro.
and Mr. Hawkins, you know what I mean? Like I even read online that again the whole conspiracy thing and all that, and you do your own research that something about him already dying and they kind of like just you know what I'm saying?
Revitalizing his body.
Yeah. So, but I mean, again, do your own research, but it's very interesting, man. But he was well renowned and very famous, and he was a brilliant man.
He was. He said something very brilliant about this is what really made me think of Stephen Hawking and made me pay attention to him when he said something to the effect of CERN. You guys familiar with CERN, right?
Absolutely, Switzerland.
Yep. For those who aren't familiar, CERN is the biggest machine in the world, and underneath Switzerland, there's about 3 also in America, if not more. Now, these machines are built to examine other dimensions and also define what's called the God particle, which they found already. It's called the Higgs boson particle or something like that.
And not to cut you off, but they are also they're made to replicate the Big Bang theory.
Right. That's what they do. They replicate the Big Bang every day to find these other particles and these other dimensions and evidence of these things. Also, I think time travel is probably included with a lot of this stuff. If you guys ever heard of the Mandela effect, the Mandela effect is basically like time being changed, like certain things you remember being said in movies. They messed with time, so now that thing is no longer in the movie. Like life is like a box of chocolates. Now they say life is a box of chocolates or something like that in a movie. So there's been a lot of things that have been changed in movies, old movies that wait, I remember it this way. Serial, all bunch of things that we remember are no longer that way. The memories are different, and it's called the Mandela effect. The reason why it's called the Mandela effect because a lot of people remember Nelson Mandela dying in the 80s. And some people don't, some people have different memories. Yeah. As if, saying, so now it was so much to the point it had to be recognized, like, wait, something is off here if there are people with different memories. Stephen Hawking warned us about CERN. He said that it basically was dangerous because it would cause like a black hole and probably possibly swallow up the earth. But I'm pretty sure there were other things he was nervous about in the making of this machine, because it has literally changed our reality. I personally think, knock me if you want, we all wonder, how did Trump get to be where he at? You know what I'm saying? Like, how did Trump steal and be president? Like, how is this even happening? This is like a movie. I think it has a lot to do with that machine, because it helps people to, if they were looking for a God particle, that means they're trying to alter reality. They're looking for the foundation of what made our reality. That's what's called the God particle, so to say. With that particle, with that energy, you can recreate or also change or kind of like affect this reality, so to say, with enough energy. Think about it. They're recreating the Big Bang consistently in this machine. There's an actual website you can go on and look at what the machine is doing.
Yeah. Oh, I've seen it. It's huge.
It's
bro.
huge.
It's huge.
Yeah, it's a huge, like, it's
a huge machine, man. It's
huge.
It's crazy. And it also kind of things like manipulating the weather and shit like that,
right,
and all that.
Yep.
But yeah, I don't. Let's move on a little bit, man. I don't want to scare a lot of our listeners, man. But that's what I'm saying. We're going to talk about a little bit about everything, man. We're going to be getting into a lot of deep shit. And again, man, you just do your own research, man. Like a lot of things are possible, man, that we don't think are possible. I mean, just look at it this way, man. We are nothing but an atom and a particle molecule in the universe. You know what I'm saying? Which is the Earth, and us humans are nothing but smaller particles within that Earth. You know what I'm saying? So it just gets bigger and bigger with the other planets. So we are very small compared to what we think we are, man.
I agree.
We're bigger than all these material things, money, and all this shit that they try to, push on us. But
I will say this too, my brother. If you haven't heard of these concepts, you're either going to do one out of two things. It's either going to be like, yo, this is far-fetched. I'm not even going to pay attention to it.
Yeah, this ain't for me. And that's cool.
No, check it out. That's cool if that's what you want to do, because that's your choice. But I think a wise person is going to take information and find out for themselves.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Versus just ignore it because it's outside of your scope of perception.
But that's what a lot of people will do also, you know what I'm saying? We gotta, let's keep it real, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, people are definitely gonna
People
do
are
that.
just gonna be like, man, these motherfuckers
Not
are
all the
crazy.
time.
You know what I'm saying? No, not all the time, but
most of
the
the time,
majority, but there's
I don't know.
the little seeds in there that
I
are
might have to
planted.
disagree with you on that.
Yeah.
Most of my Facebook timeline is about people talking about this. I got like 3,000 friends.
Yeah,
You know what
but
I mean?
you follow the people you want to follow too. Like
Right,
I'm
right,
talking
right.
about the majority. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm talking about.
But the
like,
world has grown to the
Yeah,
point where conspiracy theories are like
it's waking
normal,
up. It's
right?
definitely waking up. And I'm
Yeah.
not talking about that whole woke shit that, you know,
Yeah, I'm not talking about that
stay
either.
woke, stay woke. That shit the motherfuckers talk on the internet. That shit is corny, man. And that's a trend. Like, you know what I mean? Y'all motherfuckers don't really care about shit. You know, you just following a trend with words, man. But yo, Dave, what's up, man? Wake up, bro. How you doing? You a little quiet over there, man. What's
Yeah,
going
'cause
on,
I
man?
want to jump in and every, but then you know, and it's all interesting.
Yo, you
to
just
me,
gotta
so,
be like, yo, my man. Excuse me.
Stop
Nah, but what's
talking.
up, man? What you got
Like
on your
with-
mind, brother?
like with the whole Stephen Hawking things. It's like the way they can tell how a dog can talk by putting a device on them, and it just barks and it's saying, you know, like hello or something. I was gonna add that, and then I don't know if you remember when I asked you, I was like, you know about the Mandela effect, and you was like, I heard of it.
So yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
but
I
like
remember.
when my first thing of the Mandela effect, they were talking about I don't know if you guys remember when Mike Tyson bit off Holyfield's ear.
Yeah.
They're saying that never happened, and I tried looking for it proof, and I can't find it. And I was
Wow.
like, just like Jiffy's called Jiff now.
Yeah, the GIF I've seen. I
Just
never
like-
seen the ear thing though.
No, there's a whole bunch of videos on
Yeah.
YouTube about the Mandela effect, but it's not. It's important, but it almost isn't because you don't want to take your mind off what's more important, you know, which is, you know, truth. You know, it has to do with the truth, but I don't think it's fully the truth. Sometimes people do things to just take your mind off the actual truth, you know.
I think that truth is relative to the person. You know what I'm saying? Whatever you feel is more important
Yeah,
or true to
definitely.
you.
It's
you
your
know what I mean?
perspective.
It's your perspective on the matter. So I think that, you know, it is true because it's happening. You know what I mean? But I guess what you're saying is like, don't let that take away from your own life, from
Yeah.
living your life how you need to live it type thing. You know what I mean? Doing what you got to do.
Yeah.
But I do think that it's important to have a scope of understanding of these things because they do affect our lives. You know, whether you want to believe it's happening or not, something's happening, especially if it's affecting other people. If it's affecting other people,
Yeah.
it's having an effect on your life as well, regardless. of,
Whether it's true or not, if
Right.
it's something that you feel is 100% true, still go study that, research it
Find out.
to reassure yourself.
Yeah.
If it's something that you think is bullshit, a conspiracy, whatever you want to call it, something far fetched, still go research that,
Right.
find out for yourself because you might prove yourself wrong. You know what I'm saying? And that's all we're saying. We're not trying to feed no. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's what I want to do with the show, man. But let's move on to another passing, man. Just what, a few days ago, last week. What was it? Last week?
I
Give or
think
take.
last week.
Craig Mack, man. The hip hop community lost a big name, man. And I think somebody who's really been underlooked, man. And unfortunately, you know, he just faded away from what he loved, man.
Yeah.
I think he got uninspired from dealing with certain people and entities as well. You know what I mean? You see shit and all that. But you know, rest in peace to Craig Mack, man. He was well known for, you know, the 90s coming out. Flavor in Your Ear
That shit
was
was
his
hard.
biggest hit. You know what I'm saying?
It's still hard.
Yeah, absolutely. That's timeless, man. That's gonna go timeless. That he's the one who spearheaded Bad Boy Records. That's Puffy's first ever artist. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, you know, rest in peace to him, man. And his stories, it's very sad, man, because you know, I believe he moved to South Carolina after you know, after him leaving the music industry and things not working out. And you know, he got into very religious. He got into religion. I don't know exactly what religion he was into, but it was weird because
I heard it was a cult. I ain't gonna flex.
I looked into it, man. I seen some videos. I read about it, and it kind of it looked like it was a cult, man.
Yeah.
So
It had the vibe of a cult. like,
Yeah,
I see
yeah,
that.
absolutely.
I don't want to say it, but it do
Yeah,
feel
no
like
disrespect.
it was no disrespect, but it do
no
feel
disrespect,
like that.
but yeah, man. But you know, it's a tough passing, man, because I believe he was very underrated and underlooked because of him not, you know,
Taking it to the next level after that.
dealing with the way, you know, from my understanding, he, you know, obviously he was on Bad Boy and I guess he changed his manager or something like that, and Puffy wasn't with it or some shit supposedly, and you know, that's kind of how they went apart. But whatever. Here, no, say again, go research yourself. But
that was gonna be my next question. Do you think it was him, or he maybe was pushed away, like on purpose, away from?
Good question.
You know.
that's something
Good
good worth.
question.
That's something that's absolutely worth researching, man. Because you know, like he was at a peak in his career when he kind of backed away.
That's true.
You know, he did his first album and then he left and did his sophomore album on his own. When I don't know if it was his sophomore album, but I believe he had another album. I gotta research that, man. But anyway, his second album, it was the album after the joint with Flavor in Your Ear when he left Bad Boy. He just
bounced for years.
And
It's almost like something like, you know, I don't know if you guys ever heard of this, the Bad Boy curse.
oh yeah, man.
You know, so now I ain't gonna get too heavy, but I'm gonna just point out the pattern. You know what I mean? The pattern that I've seen with a lot of the artists. Whenever this seems like they reach a certain point of success with Puff, with the exception like Faith and like maybe a few other people, they either back off and get real religious or like get real weird. Like G Dep, like he turned himself in for a murder and like,
But
just, you know, something
yeah.
just, you know, it's something I can't really put my fingers on.
It's
you know what I
crazy
mean?
because a lot of his artists either died,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying, ended up in jail,
Yeah.
Became religious,
Like,
and
yeah.
it's weird because you know, he has his artists that make a lot of money for him and shit, and then boom, they're out the picture. It's
Yeah,
like
they're
it's
gone.
like he
It's like-
recycles so quick, like
Right. You be thinking of the next biggest thing,
Where's the
right?
respect in the like? You know what I mean? Like that. If that's how he gets down, that's how he gets down. And, you know, I don't know the man, but
Yeah.
it's just my perspective. This is what I see. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I just wonder what they see. You know what I mean? Like, what is it that the artist sees? I don't really
Yeah.
want to know.
No,
but, like,
absolutely.
what do they see that makes them make these turns? Because there's a pattern.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like, I wouldn't even say if it wasn't a pattern, but you notice an obvious pattern with this artist. So they're seeing or experiencing something that makes them feel they need to go on this route to get their mind and their body right and their soul right. I just wonder what that is.
it's like
you know what I mean?
they're getting used, man, because it's like I feel almost like
But no, hold on. Let's not to go further with
Yeah.
just to cut you up. But like, if that's the case, if it was just a used thing, most artists in the industry would be going that route because most artists in the industry get used.
absolutely,
You know what I'm
but
saying?
that's what the you know, that's where the light bulb comes on and like, yo, like
Right.
what's going on?
What's going on? Right.
What's going on?
That I don't know.
But you know,
I think them themselves have so many questions when you get brought to that world. I feel like it's less fear than anything. But like we was talking about Stephen Hawkins, people sometimes just want to get off the grid. Maybe it just took that little bit of fame for them to realize that's not what they
not
want.
what I want, right.
You know what I'm saying? Like everybody's different. Everybody's heart is different. And the industry is a real scary game.
Yeah.
They make it look good, but I
Yeah.
think it's real scary.
well, Puff has a real grimy pattern and a real grimy history. Like even though
Word,
you know,
it's true, it's true.
Yo, I've read a whole bunch of shit online, man. And again, I'm not throwing no darts at that man. I don't know that man, but like, yo, from the paper trail is not pretty. You know what I'm
They
saying?
don't look good, honestly. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't sign with him just based off the paper
Yeah,
trail. You know what
I
I'm
mean, he's
saying?
done a lot of great things too, and,
Right.
and great music and great endeavors and businesses and all that.
It's the
but there's-
unknown
there's-
for
there's-
me.
Yeah,
It's the unknowns
there's
for me.
two
you know?
sides,
Like,
man.
yeah,
There's two
it's
sides.
definitely the unknowns for me.
But definitely, man, respect to Craig Mack, man, and rest in peace. And you
I
know,
wanted to hear more music from him,
Yeah.
man. Like, that flavor in your ear was so
yeah,
crazy.
nah, man, that's what I'm saying. He was overlooked, underrated, and underappreciated, man.
Definitely, because
You know
that
what I'm
flavor, I like, yo, anytime I hear it on the radio, anytime I hear that shit, I'm like, yo,
Yeah.
I can't, like, from his cadence to what he was saying, like, mind you, he was one of the first artists from that time that I can remember that took pauses in between their bars. Like, like he would say something and like pause and then go into the next line. That didn't really happen again to me until like Jeezy came out. Jeezy came out and started doing ad-libs and stuff and like pausing, but like he'll say a bar, pause for mad long, say a bar, pause. And people used to talk bad about that. They didn't like that. They're like, oh, this is corny. It's not rap. You know what I'm saying? But then now that's the style. Like people have incorporated that aspect of rapping into pretty much every style where you pause, you take a moment, maybe sometimes longer than you expect, and then say the next line. But I remember Craig Mack doing that first in that particular song to where like it kind of sounds like now. Like his flow, people flow like that now. You know what I'm saying? Like he was ahead of his time to me, man.
No, absolutely,
He
absolutely,
really was.
man. And for him, you know, for him to spearhead such a big world known you know, record company, man, and basically lead the way for a lot of those people, especially Puff himself.
Right.
Like he needs, I believe, more respect.
Way
than
more
that.
respect than
and,
that.
And you know.
Yeah, but then
You
the
know,
industry
rest
just
in peace to him,
chews
man.
you up and spits you out. That's the nature of it. It's a beast.
So another thing I wanted to kind of speak of, something that happened recently. It's already been, I think, like a month or so. The school shooting in Florida. With what was it, Nicholas Cruz, I believe his last name. Mr. Cruz, Mr. Nicholas Cruz. What do y'all feel about that, man? Like, it's been going on too much, man. When we were kids growing up, you
This
ain't
was
really
never happening,
hear
dog.
about this shit. Yo, something shifted in the world, bro.
Absolutely.
Like, something's shifting where these things are happening because now you have a school shooting. I think there's been
At least once a month.
If I'm not mistaken, and don't quote me, but there's been since the beginning of the year at least 80 school shootings. We don't hear about
We don't
all
hear
of
about
them,
most of them.
but there's been at least 80 school shootings, man. It's like, yo, we never went through that, and even this whole bullying shit, like with people talking about bullying, man, like this generation is so soft to me, man. And I'm
agree.
not here to like talk down on nobody, man. But yo, if you got bullied back in the day, you either got bullied or you threw your hands. You know what I'm saying? Right. And now it's just like, the whole suicide thing's going up because of that. And I think that's crazy. And I'm not disrespecting people who have committed suicide or are thinking about it. Like, we don't condone none of that. And we definitely want people to get help that, feel like that. Right. But it's like, I'm just talking, it's been a crazy shift since we were kids, man.
I honestly, you know what? So
I don't get it.
I'm gonna share a story with you guys that, like, okay, so I'm a Lyft driver, you know what I mean, for the audience. So I drive in New Jersey quite often because there's more money out there. But I'm in Newark, I'm in all the places.
Don't
Now,
say the company's name, bro, because we're here to get them
get
advertising
them
dollars too.
So yeah, I'm a share ride driver. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I'm gonna be one of those. So now, Pete, you would think that the more like interesting things happen in Newark, right, or like the hood. So I had this one guy picked him up from, I think it's like Montclair or something like that. It was like one of them rich places in Jersey. And he hops in the car. Mind you, I'm dropping him off in high school. Okay.
Wow.
He hops in the car. I could tell he's on something because he's like moving slow. He kind of like, then he starts talking like you can't really, like he's slurring everything he's saying, right? So, fun fact, I smoke, okay? So I had burned in the car prior, maybe like a few hours, and I didn't Febreze, but not good enough. So when he hopped in the car, he was like, smells good in here, you know what I'm saying? I was like, yeah, I was like, shit, I probably got it for reasons better. But so then he pulls out edibles out his book bag. I was like, no. So he pulls out edibles out his book bag, 200 milligram, like the high potency joints. I was like, nah, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? So he puts them back up. Here's the thing. We have a deep conversation. I mean, a deep conversation. He's telling me, oh, I got pills, I got bars, I got Xanax, I got this, I got that. I'm like, so I wanted to know. I was inquiring mind, wanted to know, like, what brought you on this path? I asked him a certain way, you know what I mean, so he can open up.
Yeah.
He starts to tell me, like, when he was 13, he had anxiety, so they put him on Xanax. Then he had some problem with his tooth, went into his gums. They gave him the low perks, the low perks, like the low level perks. He said he's been hooked since.
Gateway.
Since. So, and then now when I dropped him off, make a long story short, I drop him off. I felt a high level of compassion for him. You know what I'm saying? We talked for a while after that. I drop him off. I look at all the other kids. They look like him.
Crazy.
They look like him. They all look like their parents put them on some drugs.
It's crazy.
Early on, and they still on that. And they just still on that shit. So I think it's the medication.
That's and it's a fucking epidemic, bro. Because listen to this, man. Like, I've gotten into it with my son's school a couple times already, and I don't mind voicing my opinion and my thoughts with shit like that. Like, I've had to go in on emails, I've had to go to meetings and all that. Where my son, he's 12 years old now, and for the last couple years, he's like a young kid like everybody else. You know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes he talks in class, sometimes a little too much, gets in trouble, gets put in the corner, whatever, gets yelled at, like every other kid. You might get in trouble here and there. But it's like these schools, right away, they want to push like the ADHD. Or I even had one teacher say, maybe you should take him to the doctor. And I flipped out, bro. I flipped out, but I did it I wrote an email, and I did it in a nice,
intelligent,
stern manner,
Right.
to let them know that I'm not playing that shit. You
Right.
know what I'm
Don't
saying?
play with me.
And I let them know. Listen, I basically was just like, look, I don't believe in that. You know what I mean?
Right.
He's young. You know, he's growing up. Everybody learns at their own pace.
Right.
You know, when I was young, I did the same shit. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right.
Like I was put in the corner for being talkative, and because I was animated, I'm an artist.
Right.
You know, so everybody learns at their own pace. You know, so I had to let them know that, and I had to be like, listen, I don't get down with that Medicare scam BS. Like, you know, I was just basically straight out. I was like, listen, the Medicare system thrives off of kids, especially kids now, getting prescribed with medicine.
Facts.
And what's the word? When the doctors prescribe something to you, I lost it. It was at the tip of my mind. Misdiagnosed. A lot of kids, even adults, they're getting misdiagnosed with, you know, these medicines, man, that are really making them sick flip out or get, you know. Yo, it's a pattern, man.
Yo,
It's
watch
crazy.
this, right? Just to flip this on the audience a little bit more so y'all can see just how deep of the issue is, man, or how big the picture is. We got a whole store called Rite Aid, right? Let me break that down. Rite is a ritual. The word rite means ritual. It means something you do, right? The pills are ritual aids. The pills are doing rituals on your body each time you put it in your mouth. It's literally performing a certain action to cause you to react a certain way. It's changing. It's like terraforming your body. For those who don't know what terraforming is, it's changing. So like say if you want to live on Mars, you need to change the environment of Mars for you to live on it. You know what I mean? So the pills are terraforming your body for you to be a certain person. They're terraforming your mind so that your mind is a certain way program or you know, so that you fall in line with society. It's easier for you to, you know what I'm saying? So like the person that has what you call ADHD just might be a genius, but it might be the genius to change the world in a direction they don't want you to. So they're gonna make sure they can control that. There's a control factor put in. You understand what I'm saying? So the pills and everything, they're just mimics of nature. They're a perversion of nature. You heard? Like they take things that, you know, herbs and all that, and they just take the properties of them and create their own version of it so that they can push their agendas.
Manipulate.
Right. You know. So I think that the reason why a lot of the emotional things and a lot of things that are going on with these kids have a lot more so to do with medicine. And if, you know what I mean? It has to do with if it ain't the medicine, it's the food.
Yeah, it's
You
the
know what I
food,
mean?
it's the water, it's the fluoride, it's
all these things are affecting our behaviors and affecting us, our abilities to deal, chemtrails, all that. You know, it has a long-term effect.
And again, my people, please, if you hear something that you don't know what it is, or you never heard it, please go out there, research it yourself. You know what I mean? Again, we're not here to push anything on nobody, and we're just, you know, we're here to be open-minded. You know what I mean? And for the people that like to judge, see you later. Go find yourself another podcast. But yeah, man. I just feel it's very dangerous, man. It's very dangerous that, especially in these schools now, they want to right away push these kids to get examined for ADHD or chemical imbalances. And I get it. That's cool and all that. But, bro, my son is a brilliant young man.
Right.
You know, he's a strong young man. He's intelligent. Just because you don't see that in him, what I see in him, I'm not going to let you take him and dig him into the ground. You know what I'm saying? Hell no. I refuse. So that's something big that we need to, I think, as parents, just keep an eye on, man. And
What you think, Dave?
research that.
I believe that everything is programmed since, like, you know, it's easy to be like, all right, he has ADHD, let's try this pill. I had high cholesterol for a few years now, and I just started taking the pill because of other health issues. I have to now. I always rejected my doctor. He's a good doctor, so it's not, you know, like he was trying to really mess me up. But I kept telling him I don't want to take the pill. I'd rather change my diet, because with diabetes, I have diabetes. It messes with your organs. So I did change my diet. It helped for a while, but now with recent health issues, you know, I have to start taking it. And I just believe that everything comes with being advanced. So they're like, just do that. The same way you feel like he has a mental problem, that person has a mental problem, the same way you can work with your own mentality to not have it that way. It's like
Self-healing.
Yeah.
it's like Fast and the Furious Part 1. He had ADHD, but he used his mind in cars. His brilliant went in cars. You pop open the hood of a car right now, we don't know what to call that, this or what you have under the hood, but he can. Everybody's made for their own advanced, you know. They just want to really push you know, what like control what we do, like side effects. They'll take one pill, but it'll mess you up in 20 other different ways. Why do that?
Yeah,
You know?
and not to cut you off, but I believe, you know, it's meant to control the people, and it's also meant to make money off of the people at the same time. You know what I'm saying? And it's I'm glad you brought up that self-healing, man, because I really believe in that, man. I really believe we have in our bodies, man, to heal, man. Like, there's a plant on this earth that can heal just about any sickness. We just don't know. You know, why do you think they use a lot of these plants in their medicines? They water them down. They put the other shit that gets you. You know what I'm saying? It's we can self heal. I really believe in that. I read a lot on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
From herbs and just the sun itself. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of we're looked at crazy for that, man. But a lot of I know a lot of Caribbean people and Southern American people and even in the East, Asia, black and brown people, like, you know, our ancestors did that a lot. You know what I mean? I for me, I believe in Western medicine more than the Eastern medicine over here with the everything.
You mean Eastern medicine over?
Yes, I'm sorry, Eastern versus Western. Everything over here is give him a pill. You need this. Oh, raise his dosage. Oh, raise the strength. Do that. Yo, that's crazy, man.
Yeah, it's man.
And you know what it is? Like, and I say this all the time. Don't go trying to sell me the medicine when you have the cure.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that's what they do. They sell us the medicine for the profits because the cure doesn't make a profit. You know what I'm saying? And that's just what it is. And it's sad, man, that a lot of people don't see that, man. A lot of people don't see that because, you know, we've been conditioned in society to just
I think it's more mental management too.
Take.
I think it's more of a mental management too. You know what I'm saying? Like, they can manage people's minds, but they know you're going to react a certain way because you're on medicine. You see what I'm saying? They could kind of measure more and predict what we are and not going to do based off of the medicines that we take because they know how it affects us. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So this person is less likely to be a threat because they have this going on. You know what I'm saying? It's because we said earlier, you know, they print the money.
Yeah.
So I think money is one part, but then the other part is control and power. I think that's a more relevant thing to them because they already got us with the money shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, the money shit is like, you know,
like, you know, slavery is still here. You know what I'm saying?
it's just
like,
different form.
They took the chains off of people's hands and feet, and it's just a different form. You know, you got credit. You're a slave to credit. You got to pay back that credit. Bills. You know what I'm saying? Like, medicine, like they just transformed it, and now it's not just, you know, African American or black people, it's everybody.
Everybody's dealing with
the only color that they give a fuck about is green. You know what I'm saying?
I agree.
And
I agree. I was sick for 12 years for the audience. I was sick for 12 years off of vaccines. I was shot up with 7 vaccines in the military. I didn't know anything about the military. I was very naive as a young kid, man. I was very naive. I did not know. I did not know anything about the military.
not you being naive. I mean, I remember you being sick.
Why to say shit? I remember being naive as well, because I definitely, you know, didn't know what I should know. I felt, and I went into the military to help my family out, and they give you 7 vaccines in one day. And for those who don't know, vaccines are very dangerous. Basically, you're giving a person the virus so that they can create antibodies to defend themselves from that said virus when they encounter it later. But when you give 7 vaccines in one day to a person like this, it's a different factor. I even had a passenger that was one of the doctors that created the vaccines. Like, he actually worked at one of these companies and was responsible with designing the vaccine. He was one of my passengers. And when I told him what happened to me, he was like, yeah, that's too much.
That's
That's
crazy.
way too many It's way too many vaccines in one time. Like they do that for when he said insurance. It's more cost effective to give you all of them at one time than to have to arrange an appointment one by one with each soldier.
Not knowing how somebody's going to react
Right,
or even
they just-
die.
yeah, they
you know
just
what I
go.
mean? But
They
it's
don't-
cost effective. That's what it is.
That's what matters with them, with these companies.
That's what
cost
this is,
effective.
yeah.
That's one end, and then the power part. So I ended up self healing. I went to naturopathic doctors, and the herbs they helped me a lot, and I'm healthy now. Now I'm a healer. I heal people as well.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
That's dope, man.
you guys ever heard of Reiki or energy healing? That's what I do.
I have,
Check me out.
absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, now I think, we're definitely going to get a lot into that. I
Oh
think,
yeah, definitely.
That's something we're going to definitely touch upon, man, and, just explore, because I think the people need to know.
Right.
As much as the people are waking up, they need to know that they can self-heal as well.
I agree.
It's just, it's just doing knowledge of self. You got to learn who you are, what your strengths are, your weaknesses, what builds you up, what tears you down. Because we fall to rise.
Know
so
thyself.
Know thyself, knowledge of self. Self-mathematics, baby.
I got a question I want to ask y'all.
What's up, man?
This is the surprise I told you guys about.
Oh, boy.
All right, so, all right. I'm going to tell you my experience, and I'm going to ask the question. I had
Pardon me.
one of my clients last night was a porn star.
Oh, shit.
Okay? She does girl on girl scenes. You know what I mean? She's like Italian and black or something like that. I wouldn't have known at all that she was a porn star when she got in the car. You know what I mean? I would have known at all. So, I'm going to tell you how the night went. Because I know what people in the audience already assuming some nasty shit went down. No. That did not go down.
You nasty
You
motherfucker.
nasty mother. So anyway, that's not what happened at all. So, as I said, I smoke. So, she came in smelling like trees. I was like, oh, you smell great. She thought I was just talking about she smelled great.
Yeah.
I was like, no, you smell like. She was, oh, I thought I smell like bud. You do smell like bud. That's great. She was like, oh, well, shit, can I smoke? I said, sure. She's like, oh my God, we're lit. So then we start driving, and she's telling me about like she opened. This tends to happen to me a lot, but people tell me they life. You know what I mean? Like they tell me stuff I do not expect for them to say to me or anyone else for that matter. Like I'm surprised you tell anybody these kind of things. You know what I'm saying? Because the shit is deep. So I'm not gonna repeat what she said to me. However, the content of what she was revealing to me of what happened to bring her into this lifestyle, what makes her comfortable in the lifestyle, was disturbing as shit.
It always is.
When I say it was disturbing, like it's the shit you can't even comprehend that a woman could go through and continue to exist, and then be in that industry at the same time. You heard? And then she told me, she was like, "Yo, the things I've been through is what made me make me comfortable with this. It's what made me comfortable with this. It's what made me comfortable living this lifestyle. All the abuse I went through, all the and just to give you guys a scope on the things that happened. Like if you ever seen Precious, the movie Precious,
Yeah.
what happened to her? You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
things like that story mixed with a bunch of other stories. You know what I mean? Just to give you guys an understanding of how detrimental it was. So I drop her off at it's like a club spot or whatever. I think it was a strip club. I'm not sure. Again, I was in Newark, so I'm not all that familiar with the area. So I drop her off. She called me back because she wanted me to pick her up. She's like, yo, this dude grabbed my ass. My friend tried to fight him. It was a girl that tried to fight him. He leaves, comes back with a gun, tried to shoot everybody up.
Wow. That's nuts.
And then I asked her because she just talked about it like it was normal. You know what I mean? This is regular for her. Like, such and such happens, so on and
sometimes it
so
is
forth.
for people.
Right. Which brings me to my next point, right? So I used to go to strip clubs. I used to frequent strip clubs when I was young, like early 20s. You know what I'm saying? Like first learning about it. I'm like, yo, this is dope. I get to see naked women and this is wonderful. You know what I'm saying?
Titties and ass.
Right. I'm like, yes. But then, I'm an empath. So I can feel people. I can feel your story. I can feel your life. So, one of them days, one of them girls was doing all the shit she was doing, and I just caught her. I was like, I didn't feel right. Like something felt wrong. Like I had to ask. I think it was one question I asked myself in that moment. Like, yo, why does she feel comfortable doing this right now? Mm-hmm. She don't know me, but it feel like she likes me, but I know she don't. She's just, this is her business.
Yeah.
But yo, and then it made me really sit back and wonder, like, all right, hey,
Protocol.
you know, it's protocol for them. So, but it's only protocol because they've been through so much abuse that made it protocol. And that shit was a turn off for me, so I stopped going. How do you guys feel? Like, I don't know how to pose the question, but have you ever like experienced?
I know, man. Get to the question already.
Experienced meeting a beautiful woman, but you know she's been through trauma, so it kind of like
turns you off.
It either turns you or you got to approach it a certain way.
No,
like how do you guys deal with that? Like for me, I just dealt with giving her non-sexual attention as much as I could possibly do that. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, but what do you think, Dave? And have you had any experiences like that?
I have, but I have more with women that I know. So that's a little bit different because, like you said, you can feel, and that's a person you don't know. So imagine knowing. You know, I have a few girls that, you know, went through some stuff that I can even bear, like I can witness for, and I know it wasn't no bullshit, but it's hard because you know that they can do whatever they want. They can be greater. They don't have to do that, but some people, it's their way of dealing with it. You gotta remember, it has to do with money because they're not making a little bit of money. You know that. Amount of money, you know what I'm saying, but. It's like what I've learned for myself, speaking for me, how I feel. And there's artists that will admit to that. Is at the end of the day, you go behind closed doors, you shed your tears. You know, you know, you only go to sleep with yourself. Even if you have somebody next to you, you fall asleep all alone. You know, so these people have feelings, and it may disgust you because the way you think about it. I can't say it disgusted me.
It just more so made me look at the business, you know, a different way. Because I mean, she didn't disgust me. You know, like that's not her fault. She went through these things, but or her lifestyle that doesn't disgust me at all. You know what I mean,
the principle, the principle.
It's just the principle of it. Yeah, like that's kind of like, you
know. Once again, I just feel like it could either make you or break you, and if that's your scene that you want to put out there to make it look like, you know, all them girls act all that. I'm lit, I'm making mad money, they do, but at the end of the day, once again, they go behind closed doors, and I'm pretty sure that's what I experienced last night. You know what I'm saying? They cry.
Sometimes that's the only avenue they have where they get the attention or they feel like they're worth something. You know what I'm saying?
They feel big on that.
And that's disturbing just to think that, because it's like, damn, really, what the fuck have you been through? Like, you know what I mean? And you know, I'm not knocking them, but it's like, yo, like, bro, at the end of the day, man, I don't think there should be any strippers. Like,
I agree. That's how I feel.
Who really wants to? Who, you know, these girls, like, do they
really? They don't really want to.
They don't wake up and be like, I'm gonna be a stripper,
right?
You know what I'm saying? Everybody wants money, but like, and again, I'm not knocking them, man, but yo, it's just, you know,
it's a painful way to live. You know what I mean? Because you're reliving your abuse over and over again.
If you were abused, some aren't. You know what I'm saying?
Listen, I'm gonna put it to you like this: I've never met a woman that was in that lifestyle that hasn't been abused. Not one. I haven't.
I'm sure there is.
I'm sure there is. But I'm pretty sure, like you said, the majority.
Let's keep it balanced. You know,
the majority. The majority. Like, all right, let me ask y'all this: have you ever met a woman that wasn't abused that was in that kind of lifestyle?
I mean,
you knew.
I have, but it's only for what I know. Like this, I'm pretty sure you've heard that some people be like, I have a baby. That's what I got into.
But how do you know they weren't abused? Did they just because they didn't tell you?
That's what I'm saying. I'm only going by their word.
Right.
But that's all you
most
got.
Most women, and that's the thing about us, we don't know because most women have been abused, but they just either they tell you or they don't. The thing is, or the thing that they try to forget to where they just, I don't want to talk. Take an example. Listen, if somebody abused us as men, how many people are we going to really tell? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, somebody. You know, we're not finna do that. You know what I mean? So now think about a woman. Like sometimes they are, yes, but oftentimes I'm pretty sure they're just gonna like when I do my healing sessions. I don't think I've met one woman that didn't say that she was abused. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Every single woman I've ever talked to doing healing has been in that situation. The only two people I know in my life for sure that I know for sure haven't been abused is my daughter and my mother, and maybe my sisters. You understand what I'm saying? Like it's that common of a thing.
It's very common.
It's that common of a thing. Common. So to be in that lifestyle, I mean, it takes a strong person, honestly, to be in that lifestyle, having gone through that. So I have a high amount of honor and respect for her to even be able to continue to live, even if the way that she's living is abusive to herself. You understand what I'm saying? But at the same time, it's like, you know, like we were talking. I was trying to figure out, like, damn, what else could you do? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we were talking about, like what else would you want to do? And then here's the crazy shit. She had other things going on, and it wasn't her that fucked it up. It was like the person she might have dealt with, or a family member, or, you know what I mean? Like, she tried other avenues where she made other money and didn't have to live this life.
Yeah.
So I look at it like, you know, like even in the porn industry, that's why it's just hard to see it the same way, because you know that they don't want to be there. You know what I mean?
Even, you know what? Even just regular life, man. In my experiences, like, you know, growing up and dating these girls, like, it's crazy to learn how many people really have gotten abused. Like, I've dealt with, you know, a few girls in, you know, my whole past, man, from my teenage years all the way up to, you know, a few years back, and a lot of these girls have been, you know, raped or molested, or and it's wild.
It's
like
wild.
I really was put into an awe, because it's like you hear about it and stuff, but it's like it's never been that close.
Right.
But it really has. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's the crazy part. It has, just don't really.
And not only that, and we're not gonna get deep into this because this is gonna go a whole another way. But even with the whole shit with Africa Bambaataa and the hip hop and all that, bro, it's been around forever.
Right.
You know? Even with men.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
I didn't. You know what?
It's crazy.
I didn't know, honestly, when it was that common amongst men until that story. When that story came out and you hear all the men that talked about, I was
but it's been like that. I mean, you hear all the stuff, you know,
Man,
with
listen.
the priests and
but
and schools and all that.
right.
man.
Like those are
Yeah.
see, but those are things like you hear about in certain communities almost. You don't necessarily hear about on a broad scale. You know what I'm saying? Like you hear about in Catholic priests and stuff like that. You might hear a few things here and there, but I didn't realize it was that, like, with whole African body. I had no idea it was like that. I mean, for anybody that don't know, man, check all that out. Like, research it. It's very interesting and deep at the same time, the world we live in.
Yeah, and check your loved ones, man. Check your loved ones, man, because there's people real close to you that I'm telling you that it's happened to them, and you just don't know.
Have no idea.
They don't. The problem is they don't know how to get it out, and they don't know how to say it, or they're afraid to, you know, feel ridiculed or shit like that. So just, you know, check your family, man.
I just also would think, like, it has to do with women against men. Like, when a female gets hurt like that, not just stripping, but anything that they do that is, like, when they get dressed for the attention, you know. I feel like it's like their way of saying, I'm getting back at the male species by taking their money. A lot of people, it's like gambling or anything else. They spend a lot of their money in strip clubs. That's a problem. You get what I'm saying? So they felt like a male did that to them. Let me get whatever I can get out of it. Once again, money being the number one thing, but it's also something inside of them. You know what I'm saying? If men are all like this and they did this to me because I'm a woman, and we're supposed to be the weaker species, I'm going to feel high and mighty in this way. You get what I'm saying? So that has to do with emotions. Emotions is what drive you, you know. So,
And it's crazy because they're like, I mean, people could argue all day, but to me, women are stronger than men.
I agree.
In many things.
they can endure childbirth. You can't.
That's what I'm
Right.
saying.
We
Yeah,
can't do
yeah.
that.
From
That's a strong thing.
Man, from childbirth to showing love to, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Everything.
Putting up with us.
like, you know, men, we got that macho shit. Like, I'm the man of the house and I pay the bills, and man, get out of here with that shit, man. Like, you know, when you're young, growing up, you maybe you feel like that and shit, but as you grow, man, you learn, man, and you see the world for what it really is, man.
And women are extremely valuable, man.
yeah.
Like, they're priceless, honestly. So, and that's what disturbs me so much about what we're talking about. You know, they're not treated like they're priceless.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's terrible that certain women, little girls, whatever, go through that, man, because that just destroys you from the beginning, man.
It does. Here's another element to that too, like, because honestly, I've been from a child. I mean, not a child, but like from a teenager, I've been drawn to like women who've dealt with things like that because of the level of compassion I end up having once I know that's what they've dealt with. So I've been in a relationship with a few women that, you know, once they reveal that stuff, I want to be in a relationship with them to like help and
Yeah.
love and all that. Women do the same thing with us, man. And honestly, you know what's interesting about that? When women do that to a lot of us men, that's what turns a woman bitter, because they end up dealing with somebody that does them so wrong, so dirty, you know what I mean? Because he's not in a place to really love himself. He don't really know how to love her. You know what I'm saying? And vice versa. You know what I mean? Like the relationships that I were in, they were like, they didn't know how to love themselves. They didn't know how to love me. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Absolutely.
It goes both ways. I think that factor of just wanting to be there for the opposite sex, because you see what's going on with them, but then not prepared for what comes after that. We deal with that a lot. I hear that story quite like way too often. You know, people who like feel they found the one or something like that and put all their energy into him or her, invest in all this, but they're not realizing that they aren't in a place themselves where they can love themselves yet. You know what I mean? And love for self can look different. Like how you said, like models and strippers and things like that. They might look like, you know, I got it all together, boom, boom, boom. So it looks like they have a love for themselves. It looks like they have a pride about themselves. You know what I'm saying? It's perceived like, yo, she got it together. When, you know, like you said earlier, they have a lot more underlying things going on. The imagery is also to make themselves feel comfortable in their own skin with what they have dealt with and what they're
A lot of it's a facade, man. It's just it's a front. It's a front.
It's a front to keep their mind intact while dealing with what they got to deal with. And I ain't knocking none of this, because honestly, most of these conditions, if not all these conditions, were placed on us behind people that we never see. You know, aka the government, aka, you know, the powers that be. You know, like, you know, you wouldn't have to be in a position of stripping if your parents weren't on drugs, because, you know, the drugs were not put in the neighborhood in the first place by the government. You see what I'm trying to say? So it's a domino effect if you really want to look at it.
It's allowed, so
It's
why
allowed.
not? You know,
it's allowed.
But
It's promoted. It's pushed in that direction. You know?
It's not only about situations like that. Women lose sight on everything just by being cheated on. So they have this attitude like, you know, F everybody, F dudes, and they like I said, by being cheated on, they'll give away a good nigga because they were cheated on by somebody great. But you should see
men do the same.
Yeah,
do the
I was about to
same.
say,
Yeah,
like,
we
That's
worse with
why-
that shit. Honestly,
that's
you
why
ask me.
vice versa. Vice versa.
We
But
worse with that.
I keep it simple when it comes to that part of my life. But you know, it all has to do with emotion, man.
And it's crazy, man, because it becomes a domino effect all the way around. Because, you know, one hurt dude or one hurt girl is gonna be like, fuck it, and hurt the next, and turn
Right.
that person
And
maybe
turn-
into, you know what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
yeah,
And
listen,
it just don't change, man. It just don't change. I don't know what else, man. What else y'all want to get into? Man?
The guy on your shirt, I read it. I looked at it. I wanted to really know just a little bit about it.
This is Bishop Romero. Bishop Romero, Oscar Romero. He was a Salvadorian bishop, and he's known as a martyr in El Salvador. He basically, when the Contras were going on and the guerrilla fighters were, you know, fighting against the government or sometimes even the communities itself, he was there to protect the people.
Can you break that down for the people, brother?
Basically, the year, I don't have the exact year, man, but he was a freedom fighter, basically. That's why people, you know, they pay homage to him, kind of like Che Guevara.
I was wondering if it was like Che.
And like, you know, Malcolm X and all that. You know, he got killed for trying to protect the people and try to do what's right. You know, he did it through religion and, you know, praising God, his God, and trying to spread the word and hide people in the church and things like that. And unfortunately, he was killed because he tried to do that. You know, this is when the Contras and the CIA and all that shit. And the crazy part is that you know, this was funded by the U.S. government. This war in El Salvador.
Can you input the part about the drug wars and the Contras so people can understand the connection?
Cool. Well, first things first, I'm half Salvadorian, half Costa Rican. So, you know, this story is kind of close to me. My mother's from El Salvador. My mother actually came over here in the early 70s to get away from all that shit. You know what I'm saying? Because it was real bad. And as far as the Contras and all that, basically, it was the government placing the drugs within the El Salvadorian communities and vice versa to I'm thinking of this certain part. There's a book on El Mozote. I'm not trying to get too much away from the story, but this is actually part of that whole thing. And Oscar Romero, El Mozote was a village that basically all the people got killed, massacred, murdered. The village got burned down, and all that for the same shit that Oscar Romero was fighting for. So that's basically, you know, in a nutshell of, you know, what I know of it. And it's just, you know, this is actually a shirt that I got from a group from Canada called Los Poetas. They're a rap group, and I actually sponsor them with the clothing and all that. And they rap in Spanish and in English, and they rap a lot about revolutionary stuff. So this is, you know, they were paying homage, man, and this is who he is. I mean, I definitely encourage you to go out there and read a little bit more about him and the Contras and all that, because it's a deep story.
Yeah, like the CIA had a lot to do with the Contras and all that. As far as the crack war, the crack drugs.
Yeah.
I mean, crack drugs, the crack war. The drug war in America, you know what I mean? With crack.
Absolutely.
Yeah, like the crack epidemic, that funded the Contras.
The COINTELPRO shit, all that.
Yep.
All that.
So it's all interconnected. It's all interconnected, y'all.
Yeah. Yep. And I mean, you know, when talking about the COINTELPRO, like, that's where they basically dug into America and hurt a lot of the black and brown people, you know what I'm saying? By letting the drugs in the community, you know, trying to discredit people, trying to have people fight against each other, you know, the young versus the old versus the young, and it's just crazy, man. Like, definitely I would recommend people to read up on that, man. The COINTELPRO, which stands for the Counterintelligence Program, you know, around the civil rights area, the Black Panther Party, you know, Asada Shakur, Malcolm X, all that, man, is under that, and it just gets so deep, bro.
It's a rabbit hole.
That's I'm touching on so much because it's like that whole thing right there. When I was getting my knowledge of self, you know, when I was opening my eyes, my third eye, and really seeing what the world really was, those are the things I got introduced to, was the Black Panther Party, you know what I'm saying? The COINTELPRO, Malcolm X, Huey P. Newton, all, you know. It's deep, man.
Definitely a deep rabbit hole.
We have about 10 minutes left, you know what I mean? And we'll wrap it up. Do about an hour for the first show. Hopefully you guys are having a good time, man. Like I said, we're all over the place, but we're just trying to give you snippets of what we're going to be talking about. Other shows will be a little bit more structured because we'll have the guests here. And, you know, we'll just do a nice no filter show. As you know, you can see we curse a little bit. We talk a little bit about everything. And also, please follow us on our social media real quick. I'll take the time to, we have the Backyard MECCA show on Facebook. Actually, it's Backyard MECCA on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Backyard MECCA. Also, you could follow us on our website, which is www.backyardmecca.com. You can listen to us on SoundCloud. That's where we're going to have our first shows. From there, we're going to try to push it on to, you know, after a little while, we will push it on Spotify and iTunes and Google Play and other outlets, you know, which will allow us. But definitely, please go follow us and keep up with us. And also, if you have any questions, if you want to talk shit to us, you don't agree with something, you want to call us conspiracy nuts and whatever,
Do what you like.
please email us at backyardmecca@gmail.com. Actually, I'm sorry, it's backyardmeccashow@gmail.com. That's backyardmeccashow@gmail.com.
Bet. So, Mr. Dave Calamar, talk to us, man.
I think it was a good show, man. We did pretty good, man.
Yeah. Oh, you done? Turned on?
No. Yeah, I'm just saying, like,
Yeah.
it's a good show. You know, we talked about everything, and
You did real good, honestly.
I think the people are gonna enjoy it, man. Dave, what do you think, man?
I feel like it's an opportunity to not only mainly to be entertained, but to figure out what the world is about. Everything we talked about, it brings me to just one word, which is called time. You know, we have a lot of time in the day to do other things, and I feel like, you know, if you feel, because, you know, we're gonna have a lot of, you know, what I like to call haters, but people who
That's all right.
people who really are interested in finding out the truth, it doesn't take much time like it took for us to dig into the truth.
Honestly, guys, I've been hearing that a couple times in the show.
I don't think we're gonna get a lot of haters, dude. I think we'll get some. Obviously, they're out
Nah,
there.
yeah,
But I
here,
really think the majority of people they're gonna have interest. They're gonna be
Absolutely.
curious,
I believe so.
curiosity. I don't really think it's gonna be like a whole bunch of
Yeah,
people. just
nah.
disagreeing
And
with us.
when I said that earlier, and I think the same with Dave. Like, I don't, not deep like that. It's just with anything, bro.
You got
there's people for you and there's people against you,
that's
man.
life, yeah.
And that's just how the world
But
turns.
it's a great
bro.
challenge. Like I told him earlier, it's a great challenge, and I also feel like I don't know a lot more than you guys about certain topics, but it's for us. At the end of the day, we did this for us. I'm learning something new. It's an honor and a pleasure to be here with you guys and experience that. Just like when I play my part in the show, my part is really more spirituality and health. But we'll get there.
Yeah.
For the first broadcast, it was good.
We did good, man. X, any last words, man?
Check me out on my social media. You know what I mean? Xavier Kemp on Facebook, Sunu Xavier on Instagram. Check my healing services out. Check my testimonials about my healing services out. I can help you. I have a very interesting story. You just gotta check me out, man.
Cool. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna wrap it up for this week. Again, I'm your host, SELFMATHEMATIKS Self, with my co-host here, Xavier and Calamari Dave. Once again, please check us out on our social media. Please tune in every Wednesday. Follow us on SoundCloud. And once again, I'm just gonna push my brand real quick, as well as my social media. You can follow me on SELFMATHEMATIKS on Instagram, also selfmathematics.clothing with a K on Instagram. And just check out the fly gear, man. We're just trying to push a little bit of something. We're using this as an avenue to push ourselves,
One of his
our
shirts right
guests, and just trying to be insightful, man. So thank you for being a part of the show, and come back soon. Peace.
Peace.
Interwebliens.